What if I told you that within you, at this very moment, lies a power so magnificent, so infinitely wise, so eternally present, that it has been healing wounds and restoring bodies since, before the first star ignited in the vast cathedral of space? What if I told you that the pain you carry right now, whether it burns in your flesh or aches in the hidden chambers of your heart, is not your destiny, but merely a temporary visitor waiting to be dismissed by the rightful master of your inner kingdom? What if the suffering you have accepted as permanent, the discomfort you have learned to live with, the agony you have convinced yourself is simply your lot in life, could begin to dissolve the moment you learn to whisper the right words to the infinite healing intelligence that dwells in the sanctuary of your subconscious mind? I ask you now, and I ask you with the full weight of spiritual truth behind my words, have you ever considered that your pain is listening to you? Have you ever paused to recognize that every cell in your body, every fiber of your being, every atom that composes the temple in which you dwell, is attentive to the commands you issue through your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, and your words? Have you ever understood that the subconscious mind, that deeper self within you, does not argue with the instructions you give it, but simply accepts and manifests whatever you impress upon it with conviction and emotional intensity? The pain you feel is real. I do not diminish it. I do not dismiss it. But I tell you with absolute certainty that the healing power within you is more real still. The pain is temporary. The healing intelligence is eternal. The pain is a condition. The healing power is the unconditioned source of all life. The pain speaks loudly, but the still, small voice within you speaks with an authority that transcends all suffering, all limitation, all appearances of disease and discomfort. Tonight, in this sacred hour, I am going to share with you the spiritual switch of healing. I am going to reveal to you the ancient and eternal technique of whispering to your pain, of speaking to the depths of your being with such faith and such conviction that the healing currents of the infinite begin to flow through you like a mighty river of restoration. I am going to teach you what I have taught thousands upon thousands of individuals who came to me in despair and left in triumph, who came with bodies racked by suffering and departed with the light of healing shining in their eyes. This is not fantasy. This is not wishful thinking. This is the operation of divine law, the same law that governs the rising of the sun and the turning of the seasons, the same law that causes the acorn to become the oak and the wound to become whole flesh. This law is impersonal, impartial, and infinitely responsive to those who learn to work with it consciously and deliberately. Before we journey deeper into these sacred truths, I ask you to do something that will align you with the thousands of other seeking souls who are gathered here in spirit to receive this teaching. If you believe that there is a power greater than your pain, if you sense that healing is possible for you, if you are ready to learn the secrets that transform suffering into wholeness, then subscribe to this channel and ring the notification bell so that you will never miss another transmission of divine wisdom. Press that like button as an act of faith, as a declaration to the universe that you are ready to receive healing truth. And in the comments below, write these words: I am ready to heal. Write them now, and as you write them, feel the truth of them resonating in every cell of your body. Let your comment be your covenant with the infinite, your announcement to the creative law within you that you are no longer willing to accept pain as your permanent companion. Now settle into a comfortable position. Let your breathing slow. Let your mind quiet. Let your heart open. For what I am about to share with you has the power to change your life, to heal your body, to transform your experience of being alive. These are not merely words. They are seeds of truth that, planted in the fertile soil of your receptive mind, will blossom into demonstrations of healing that will astonish you. There is a principle that I have taught for decades, a principle so simple that many overlook it, so powerful that those who grasp it are forever changed. This principle states that whatever you impress upon your subconscious mind with feeling and conviction will be expressed in your body, your circumstances, your relationships, and your entire experience of life. Your subconscious mind is not a passive storehouse of memories. It is a living, creative intelligence that shapes the very fabric of your existence according to the patterns of thought and belief you habitually hold. When you understand this principle, you begin to see your pain in an entirely new light. The pain you experience is not attacking you from outside. It is not a random affliction visited upon you by an indifferent universe. It is, in a very real sense, a communication from your own deeper mind, a signal that something within the inner realm requires attention, correction, or healing. The pain is speaking to you, and what you speak back to it matters more than you have ever imagined. Consider for a moment the words of the ancient scriptures. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 7, we read, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Notice that the scripture does not say "as a man thinketh in his head," it says "in his heart." The heart, in scriptural language, represents the subconscious mind, the feeling nature, the deep inner realm where beliefs are held and where creative patterns are established. What you hold in your heart about your pain, what you believe in the depths of your being about your body's capacity for healing, determines what manifests in your physical experience. If you hold in your heart the belief that your pain is permanent, your subconscious mind accepts this as a command and works to make it so. If you hold in your heart the conviction that you are trapped in suffering with no way out, the creative law within you obediently manifests experiences that confirm this belief. But if you hold in your heart the unshakable faith that a healing power lives within you, if you impress upon your subconscious mind the image of yourself as whole, vital, and free from pain, then this same creative law begins to work for your restoration. This is not metaphor. This is the operation of divine principle, the same power that formed your body in the womb, that orchestrated the incomprehensibly complex dance of cells and systems that brought you into being, that heals your cuts and mends your bones and fights off countless invaders every day without your conscious direction. This power is still present within you. It has not abandoned you. It has not diminished. It waits only for you to align your conscious thinking with its healing purpose. I recall a woman who came to me many years ago, her face lined with suffering, her body bent with chronic pain that had plagued her for over a decade. She had been to physician after physician. She had tried treatment after treatment. Nothing had worked, and she had resigned herself to a life of limitation and discomfort. When she sat before me, there was defeat in her eyes, and her first words were, "Dr. Murphy, I know nothing can help me, but I came anyway because I had nowhere else to turn." I looked at her with compassion, but also with certainty, and I said, "My dear woman, you have just revealed to me the source of your continued suffering. You have impressed upon your subconscious mind the conviction that nothing can help you, and your subconscious mind, being the faithful servant it is, has manifested exactly that experience. But I tell you now that there is a power within you greater than any condition, greater than any prognosis, greater than any history of failed treatments. If you are willing to change what you believe in the depths of your heart, you can begin to experience the healing, that has always been available to you." She looked at me with a mixture of hope and doubt, and she asked me what she should do. I told her to begin that very night with a simple practice. Before falling asleep, when the conscious mind relaxes its grip and the subconscious becomes most receptive, she was to whisper these words to herself with feeling, "The healing power of the infinite is flowing through me now. Every cell of my body is being renewed and restored. I am whole, I am well, I am free." She asked me how many times she should repeat these words. I told her that it was not the number of repetitions that mattered, but the depth of feeling with which she spoke them. I told her to repeat them slowly, gently, as if she were speaking to a beloved child, until she felt a sense of peace steal over her, until the words seemed to sink beneath the surface of her conscious mind and take root in the deeper soil of her subconscious being. I saw this woman again 3 months later. The transformation was remarkable. The lines of suffering had softened, her body had straightened, the light had returned to her eyes. She told me that within the first week of practicing this simple technique, she had begun to notice subtle changes. The pain that had been constant began to have intervals of relief. The relief grew longer and the pain grew shorter. Within 2 months, she was experiencing days without pain for the first time in over a decade. By the time she came to see me again, she was largely free of the condition that had imprisoned her for so many years. What happened to this woman? Did I heal her? No, she healed herself by learning to work with the infinite healing intelligence that had always resided within her. She learned to whisper to her pain, to speak to the depths of her being with faith rather than despair, with expectation rather than resignation. She flipped the spiritual switch of healing by changing the messages she was sending to her subconscious mind. This is the technique I want to share with you now, and I want you to understand it not as a trick or a gimmick, but as a cooperation with divine law. The great psychologist Carl Jung, whose work illuminated the depths of the human psyche, spoke of the unconscious mind as containing not only personal memories, but also a connection to what he called the collective unconscious, a vast reservoir of wisdom and power that transcends the individual. Jung understood that there are healing forces within the psyche that the conscious mind barely comprehends, forces that can be accessed through the right approach. Similarly, my dear friend and fellow teacher, Neville Goddard taught that imagination is the creative power of the universe, that what you imagine with feeling and conviction, you impress upon the deeper mind, and what is impressed upon the deeper mind must eventually express itself in your world. Neville understood that the images you hold in your mind, especially the images you hold as you drift into sleep, are seeds planted in the creative medium of consciousness. Plant seeds of suffering, and suffering grows. Plant seeds of healing, and healing blossoms. Florence Scovel Shinn, another luminary of metaphysical truth, taught that your word is your wand, that the words you speak carry creative power, that you can literally speak your good into existence by aligning your words with spiritual truth. Florence understood that the words you whisper to yourself in the quiet moments are often more powerful than the words you shout to the world. The whisper to your pain, spoken with conviction, carries more creative power than all the complaints and lamentations you might voice throughout the day. These teachers, each in their own way, pointed to the same truth. There is a creative power within you that responds to your thoughts, your images, your words, your feelings, and your beliefs. This power does not judge or discriminate. It does not decide that some people deserve healing and others do not. It simply responds to what is impressed upon it. It is like the soil that grows whatever seed is planted in it, whether that seed be a flower or a weed. Your task is to plant seeds of healing and to uproot the weeds of doubt and despair. Let me now guide you through the actual practice of whispering to your pain. I want you to understand that this is not merely positive thinking as it is commonly misunderstood. This is a deliberate engagement with the subconscious mind using the principles that govern its operation. There are specific elements that make this practice effective, and I want to explain each one so that you can apply it with understanding and confidence. The first element is relaxation. The subconscious mind is most receptive when the conscious mind is relaxed. This is why the practice is most powerful when performed just before sleep or upon first waking, when you are in that drowsy liminal state between waking and sleeping. In this state, the critical faculty of the conscious mind, which often rejects new ideas and clings to old beliefs, is temporarily diminished. Suggestions given in this state have a much greater chance of being accepted by the subconscious and carried out. To induce this state of relaxation, I recommend that you find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Lie down or sit in a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take several slow, deep breaths. With each exhale, feel your body becoming more relaxed, more heavy, more peaceful. Feel the tension draining from your muscles. Feel your mind becoming still. Do not rush this process. Give yourself permission to take the time you need to enter a state of deep physical and mental relaxation. The second element is feeling. The subconscious mind is the realm of feeling. It does not respond to words alone, but to words charged with emotion. When you whisper your healing affirmation to your pain, you must do so with feeling. You must feel the reality of what you are saying. You must feel, even if only for a moment, what it would be like to be free from this pain, to wake up tomorrow with your body restored, to move through your day with ease and vitality. The feeling is the prayer. The feeling is the seed. The feeling is what impresses the image upon the deeper mind. This is why the great teachers always emphasized the importance of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Neville Goddard spoke of this constantly. He would say, "Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and observe the route that your attention follows." When you assume the feeling of being healed, when you dwell in that feeling with persistence and faith, you are impressing the pattern of healing upon your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind must find the ways and means to bring that pattern into physical expression. The third element is repetition. A single affirmation, spoken once without conviction, will have little effect, but an affirmation spoken repeatedly, night after night, with feeling and faith, begins to penetrate the layers of contrary belief that have accumulated in your subconscious mind. Think of it as water wearing away stone. A single drop of water makes no impression on granite, but a stream of water, flowing continuously over time, can carve great canyons. Your repeated affirmations are like that stream of water. They gradually wear away the hard deposits of negative belief and allow the healing current to flow freely. I am not speaking of mechanical repetition, of saying words by rote without attention or feeling. That approach is ineffective. I am speaking of repeated sessions of sincere, heartfelt affirmation, each session undertaken with full presence and genuine emotion. Let each session be a fresh engagement with the healing power within you, not a tired recitation of memorized phrases. The fourth element is imagery. The subconscious mind thinks in images. Words are translated into pictures before the subconscious can act upon them. Therefore, if you can combine your whispered affirmation with a vivid mental picture, you greatly increase its power. As you whisper, The healing power of the infinite is flowing through me now. See in your mind's eye a golden light flowing through your body. See it flowing to the area of pain. See the pain dissolving in that light. See the cells of your body being renewed and restored. See yourself as you will be when the healing is complete, vibrant, energetic, free. Do not worry if your visualization is not perfectly clear or vivid. What matters is that you have the idea and the feeling of the image. Even a vague, fuzzy impression of healing light flowing through you is effective if it is accompanied by genuine feeling. Your subconscious mind will understand what you mean and act upon the intention behind your imagery. The fifth element is faith, and here we come to the heart of the matter. Without faith, all the relaxation, all the feeling, all the repetition, all the imagery will be of limited effect. Faith is the essential catalyst that activates the creative law. Faith is not wishful hopping. Faith is not the desperate desire for something to be true. Faith is the confident expectation that what you have planted in the subconscious mind will come forth in your experience. Faith is trusting the process even when external evidence does not yet confirm it. The scriptures speak of this when they say, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." This is from Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Note the remarkable language. Faith is called a substance, something real and tangible in the invisible realm, even before it becomes visible. Faith is called evidence, proof of the reality of things that have not yet manifested in the outer world. When you have this kind of faith, when you know in your heart that your healing is already accomplished in the inner realm and must inevitably manifest in the outer, you have fulfilled the condition that allows the healing power to work freely. Jesus, the master teacher of spiritual law, demonstrated this principle again and again. When people came to him for healing, he often said, "Thy faith hath made thee whole. Not my power hath made thee whole, but thy faith." The healing power was always within them. Their faith activated it. Their faith removed the obstacles of doubt and fear that had been blocking its expression. Jesus knew that he was not bestowing upon them something they lacked. He was awakening them to the power that had always been their divine inheritance. And so it is with you. The healing power is within you now. It has always been within you. It will always be within you. Your pain has not diminished it. Your doubts have not destroyed it. Your history has not exhausted it. It is infinite, eternal, ever-present. Your task is to remove the barriers you have erected against it through your thoughts and beliefs, to open yourself to its flow, to whisper to your pain with such faith and conviction that the subconscious mind recognizes your words as the truth and proceeds to manifest that truth in your body. Let me give you now a specific practice, a detailed methodology that you can begin tonight. I want you to take this practice seriously. I want you to commit to it for at least 30 days. Do not expect instantaneous results, although sometimes they occur. Do not be discouraged if progress seems slow at first. You are reversing patterns of thought and belief that may have been in place for years or even decades. Trust the process. Trust the law. Trust the infinite healing intelligence that is your birthright as a child of the living God. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, turn off all distractions. Put away your phone. Let the room be quiet. Lie down in your bed and close your eyes. Take 10 slow, deep breaths, counting each exhale. With each breath, feel yourself sinking deeper into relaxation. Feel your body becoming heavy and peaceful. Feel your mind becoming still and receptive. When you feel deeply relaxed, bring your attention to the area of your body where you experience pain. Do not focus on the pain itself, but simply become aware of that area of your body. Now, in your imagination, see a beautiful, healing light beginning to form above you. This light can be golden or white, or whatever color feels most healing to you. See this light as the visible form of the infinite healing presence that permeates all creation. Now watch as this light begins to descend toward you. Feel it entering the top of your head and flowing slowly, warmly, through your entire body. Feel it filling every cell with healing energy. Feel it flowing to the area of discomfort. See the light surrounding and penetrating the painful area. As it does so, whisper to yourself, either aloud in a very soft voice or silently in your mind. The infinite healing presence is flowing through me now. Every cell of my body is being restored to perfect health. The pain dissolves in the light of divine love. I am whole, I am well, I am at peace. Repeat this whispered affirmation slowly, gently, with feeling. Do not rush, do not strain. Let the words be like a lullaby to your subconscious mind, soothing and reassuring. As you repeat the words, maintain the image of the healing light flowing through you, dissolving the pain, restoring your body. Continue this practice until you feel yourself drifting towards sleep. Let the last conscious thoughts of your night be thoughts of healing. Let the last images in your mind be images of restoration. Let the feeling of peace and well-being carry you into your dreams. When you wake in the morning, before you open your eyes, before you rise from bed, take a moment to return to this practice. Again, see the healing light. Again, whisper the healing words. Again, feel the reality of your restoration. These moments just before and just after sleep are the golden hours of subconscious impression. Use them wisely. Throughout the day, whenever you notice your pain, do not react with frustration or despair. Instead, use it as a cue to whisper again your healing affirmation. You can do this silently wherever you are. No one needs to know what you are doing. Simply bring to mind the image of the healing light and whisper inwardly, "The infinite healing presence is flowing through me now. I am being restored." This practice, applied consistently and with faith, will begin to produce results. The results may come quickly or gradually. They may come in ways you expect or in unexpected ways. Perhaps you will be guided to a practitioner you had not known about. Perhaps a new treatment will come to your attention. Perhaps the pain will simply begin to fade without any external intervention. Trust the process. The subconscious mind, once impressed with the pattern of healing, will find the ways and means to bring that pattern into manifestation. I want to speak now about the phenomenon of resistance and how to overcome it. Many people, when they first begin this practice, encounter inner resistance. They hear a voice in their mind saying, "This is ridiculous. This won't work. You've tried everything and nothing has helped. Why should this be any different?" This voice is the voice of the old conditioning, the accumulated doubts and fears and disappointments of the past. It is the voice of the limited self, the self that has identified with pain and suffering. Do not fight this voice. Do not argue with it. Simply acknowledge it and then gently return to your practice. Say to yourself, "Thank you for sharing your opinion, but I am choosing to focus on healing now." Then continue with your affirmation and visualization. The resistant voice will gradually grow weaker as your practice grows stronger. The new thoughts of healing will eventually replace the old thoughts of limitation. This is the principle of substitution. You cannot eliminate a negative thought by direct effort, by trying not to think it. The more you try not to think of something, the more you think of it. But you can substitute a positive thought for a negative one. You can replace the thought of permanent pain with the thought of flowing healing. You can replace the image of a broken body with the image of a restored body. This is the work you are doing each time you whisper your healing affirmation. You are substituting thoughts of health for thoughts of sickness, thoughts of freedom for thoughts of bondage, thoughts of life for thoughts of limitation. The great Napoleon Hill, whose research into the principles of success has guided millions, understood this principle well. He taught that the emotions of faith and fear cannot occupy the mind at the same time. One must dominate. Your practice of whispering healing affirmations is, in essence, a practice of cultivating the emotion of faith until it displaces the emotion of fear. Every time you whisper with conviction, "I am being healed," you are feeding the faith and starving the fear. In time, faith will triumph and fear will fade. I want also to address the question of pain medication and medical treatment. Some people wonder whether this spiritual approach to healing means they should discontinue their medications or refuse medical care. I do not teach this. I teach that the subconscious mind works with and through whatever means are available. If medication helps manage your pain while you are doing this inner work, use it with gratitude. If a physician recommends a treatment that could help you, consider it carefully and prayerfully. The spiritual approach does not exclude the physical approach. They can work together. Many people have found that as their faith in healing grows, their need for medication diminishes. But this should happen naturally under the guidance of a healthcare professional, not through a reckless rejection of available help. The infinite intelligence within you may use many channels to accomplish your healing, including the channels of medical science. Remain open to guidance from within and without. Now I want to share with you another testimony, another example of how these principles have worked in the lives of real people. This concerns a man I will call Robert, though that was not his real name. Robert came to me complaining of chronic back pain that had persisted for nearly 15 years. He had been to countless doctors, had undergone surgery, had tried every treatment conventional medicine could offer, and still he lived in constant discomfort. The pain affected his work, his relationships, his enjoyment of life. He had reached a point of deep despair. I taught Robert the principles I have shared with you tonight. I explained to him the nature of the subconscious mind and its responsiveness to thought and belief. I gave him the practice of the whispered affirmation and the healing visualization, and I told him something else that proved crucial to his healing. I told him that the pain in his body was connected to pain in his mind. I asked him if there was any emotional burden he was carrying, any old resentment or unforgiveness, any guilt or regret that weighed upon his heart. At first, he said no, there was nothing. But as we talked, it emerged that he had been carrying for many years a deep resentment toward his father, who had been harsh and critical throughout Robert's childhood. Robert had never forgiven his father, even though his father had died years before. He had buried the resentment deep, but it was still there, still festering, still affecting him in ways he did not consciously recognize. I told Robert that the body often expresses what the mind will not acknowledge, that suppressed emotions seek outlet and may manifest as physical symptoms. I told him that his healing might not be complete until he addressed this emotional dimension. And so I gave him a practice for forgiveness, a practice as important in its way as the healing affirmation I had already taught him. I told him to sit in a quiet place, to close his eyes, to call to mind the image of his father, and to say to that image, silently and sincerely, I forgive you completely and freely. I release you and I release myself. I wish you well. I bless you and I let you go. I told him to repeat this practice daily until he felt the resentment dissolving, until he could think of his father without the old charge of anger and hurt. Robert followed my instructions faithfully. He practiced the healing affirmation each night before sleep. He practiced the forgiveness exercise each day, and within a few weeks, he began to experience changes. The pain that had been constant began to have periods of relief. The periods of relief grew longer. The pain grew less intense. Within 3 months, Robert reported that his back pain had reduced by more than half. Within 6 months, it was almost entirely gone. What healed Robert? The same power that can heal you. The infinite healing presence within, activated by faith, supported by forgiveness, directed by the conscious use of affirmation and visualization. Robert learned to whisper to his pain, and his pain responded by releasing its grip on his body. This brings me to an important teaching that I do not want you to overlook. Forgiveness is often the key that unlocks the door to healing. If you are carrying any old resentment, any unforgiveness toward anyone, including yourself, it may be blocking the free flow of the healing current through your being. The great teacher Jesus emphasized this when he said, "If you bring your gift to the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift before the altar and go your way. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift." This is remarkable teaching. It suggests that there is a connection between our relationships with others and our relationship with the divine, between our capacity to forgive and our capacity to receive blessing. When you hold on to resentment, you create a congestion in your consciousness, a block in the channel through which healing flows. When you forgive, you clear the channel. You open yourself to the influx of divine love and healing power. I am not asking you to condone what anyone has done to you. I am not asking you to pretend that you were not hurt or wronged. I am asking you to release the burden you have been carrying, not for their sake, but for yours. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to the offender. It is a gift you give to yourself. It is the removal of a weight that has been pressing down upon you. It is the opening of a door that has been keeping your good out. If there is anyone you have not forgiven, I urge you to begin the practice tonight. Add it to your healing work. See their face before you and say, I forgive you, I release you, I free you and I free myself. I wish you well. Say it until you feel the truth of it. Say it until the old anger loses its power. Say it until you are free. And if you have not forgiven yourself, if you are carrying guilt or regret for past actions, apply the same practice to yourself. Look at your own image in your mind and say, I forgive myself. I release myself from condemnation. I accept the love and healing of the infinite. I am made new. You cannot walk into the fullness of health while burdened by self-condemnation. Let it go. Let it all go. Step into the freedom that is your birthright. The scriptures assure us of God's willingness to heal. In Exodus chapter 15, verse 26, the Lord declares, I am the Lord that healeth thee. In Psalm 103, verse 3, we read that the Lord healeth all thy diseases. In Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 17, the promise comes, I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord. These are not empty words. These are statements of spiritual law. The infinite presence is a healing presence. Its nature is to restore, to renew, to make whole. When you align yourself with this presence through your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings, and your practices, you open yourself to receive what it is always offering. And what is required of you? Faith, receptivity, willingness to change your thought, persistence in your practice. These are not impossible requirements. They are things you can do beginning tonight. You can whisper to your pain. You can speak the words of healing. You can hold the images of restoration. You can feel the feeling of wholeness. You can persist until your demonstration comes. I want you to understand that healing is not a matter of begging God for something God is reluctant to give. It is not a matter of convincing a hesitant deity to bestow a favor. It is a matter of opening yourself to receive what is already being given, always and forever. The healing current is always flowing. Your task is to remove the obstructions you have placed in its way through your thoughts of limitation and your beliefs in permanence of suffering. Think of a garden hose connected to a faucet. The water pressure is always there, always ready to flow. But if you kink the hose, the water cannot get through. Your negative thoughts and limiting beliefs are like kinks in the hose. They obstruct the natural flow of healing. Your affirmations and visualizations are like straightening the hose, removing the kinks, allowing the water to flow freely again. This is why I emphasize the importance of persistent practice. A single session of affirmation, no matter how powerful, may not be enough to remove obstructions that have built up over many years. But persistent practice, night after night, day after day, gradually clears the channel. Gradually, the healing current flows more freely. Gradually, the manifestation of health appears in your body. I have seen people healed of conditions that physicians declared incurable. I have seen tumors dissolve, pain vanish, mobility restored, diseases reversed. I tell you these things not to boast, but to instill in you the faith that such healings are possible, that they are not reserved for a special few, that the same power that worked these wonders is available to you. The infinite healing presence does not play favorites. It responds to anyone who approaches it with faith and works with it according to its laws. As we move toward the close of this first portion of our time together, I want to leave you with a sense of the tremendous power that lies within you. You are not a helpless victim of circumstance. You are not at the mercy of your pain. You are a divine being, an expression of the infinite, endowed with creative power, capable of shaping your experience through the thoughts you think and the beliefs you hold. The pain you feel today need not be the pain you feel tomorrow. The condition you experience now need not be your permanent condition. There is a switch within you, a spiritual switch of healing, and you now know how to flip it. You flip it by changing your thought. You flip it by impressing new images upon your subconscious mind. You flip it by speaking words of healing with faith and conviction. You flip it by persisting in your practice until the demonstration comes. Tonight, when you lay your head upon your pillow, whisper to your pain. Speak to it as you would speak to a child who needs reassurance. Tell it that its reign is ending. Tell it that a new order is being established in your body. Tell it that the healing power of the infinite is taking over now. And as you whisper, believe what you are saying. Feel the truth of it. See the reality of it in your imagination. Then release it to the subconscious mind and drift into peaceful, healing sleep. The healing intelligence that guides every function of your body, that beats your heart and digests your food and fights off invaders and repairs damage, this intelligence is now receiving your instructions. It is listening to your whispered words. It is accepting your healing images. It is preparing to manifest in your body the wholeness you are claiming in your mind. Trust it. Trust the process. Trust the law. And know that you are not alone in this healing journey. Thousands of others are engaging in similar practices at this very moment. A great community of seeking souls is united in the work of awakening to the infinite power within. You are part of this community. You are supported by the faith and intention of countless others who are also learning to whisper to their pain and reclaim their birthright of health and wholeness. I will meet you again in the next portion of this teaching, where we will go even deeper into the mysteries of healing and the techniques for sustaining your demonstration. We will explore additional methods, additional testimonies, and additional dimensions of this transformative work. But for now, rest in the assurance that the first steps have been taken. The seed has been planted. The process has begun. You are healing now. You are whole now. You are free now. Believe it, accept it, receive it. And so it is. The journey we have begun together is not merely an intellectual exercise. It is a sacred pilgrimage into the depths of your own being, a voyage to the innermost sanctuary where the infinite healing presence dwells in eternal readiness to restore, renew, and resurrect every cell and fiber of your body. As we continue now, I want you to carry with you the truths we have already explored, for they are the foundation upon which we shall build even greater understanding and more powerful demonstrations of healing. You have learned that the subconscious mind is the creative medium through which all healing flows. You have learned that what you impress upon this deeper mind with feeling and conviction must inevitably express itself in your body and your experience. You have learned the practice of whispering to your pain, of speaking words of healing in the receptive moments before sleep and upon waking. You have learned the importance of relaxation, feeling, repetition, imagery, and faith. And you have glimpsed the transformative power of forgiveness in clearing the channels through which healing energy flows. Now we shall go deeper still. Now we shall explore the subtle dimensions of this healing work, the refinements that can accelerate your demonstration, the truths that can sustain you when doubt arises and faith wavers. For the path of healing, like any sacred path, has its challenges and its tests. There will be moments when you question whether anything is happening. There will be times when the pain seems as present as ever, when the old thoughts of limitation reassert themselves, when the voice of doubt grows loud in your mind. I want to prepare you for these moments. I want to give you the tools and the understanding to move through them with grace and persistence. Let us begin by considering more deeply the nature of the subconscious mind and its relationship to the body. The subconscious mind is not located in any particular part of your physical form. It permeates every cell. It is the intelligence that governs every function of your body, from the beating of your heart to the healing of a wound to the fighting off of infection. This intelligence is not separate from you. It is the deeper dimension of your own being. And yet it operates largely below the threshold of conscious awareness, carrying out its countless tasks without requiring your conscious direction. This is a profound blessing. Imagine if you had to consciously direct every heartbeat, every breath, every digestive process. You would be overwhelmed within moments. The subconscious mind handles all of this for you, freeing your conscious mind to focus on the tasks of daily living. But here is the crucial understanding. While the subconscious mind operates automatically in most matters, it is also responsive to the suggestions and beliefs of the conscious mind. It takes its orders, so to speak, from the thoughts you habitually think and the beliefs you consistently hold. This is why the practice of whispering healing affirmations is so powerful. You are using your conscious mind to give new orders to your subconscious mind. You are instructing the healing intelligence within to focus its restorative powers in particular ways. You are overwriting old programs of limitation with new programs of wholeness. And the subconscious mind, which does not argue or resist, but simply accepts and acts upon what is impressed upon it with conviction, begins to carry out your new instructions. But here is a subtlety that many people miss. The subconscious mind responds not only to your words, but to the feeling behind your words, and even more fundamentally, to the beliefs that underlie your feelings. If you speak words of healing while secretly believing that you cannot be healed, the subconscious will respond to the belief rather than the words. This is why faith is so essential. The words are the vehicle, but faith is the engine that drives them home. How then do you cultivate genuine faith when doubt seems so natural and so justified by the evidence of your senses? This is one of the great questions of the spiritual life, and I want to give you a clear and practical answer. Faith is not something you either have or do not have. Faith is something you cultivate, something you grow, something you strengthen through deliberate practice. Every time you speak your healing affirmation with genuine feeling, you are exercising your faith and making it stronger. Every time you hold the image of your restored body in your mind, you are building the muscle of belief. Every time you choose to focus on the possibility of healing rather than the apparent permanence of pain, you are shifting the balance from doubt toward faith. Think of faith as a garden. When you first begin, the garden may be overrun with weeds of doubt and fear. These weeds have been growing for a long time, and they are well established. But as you begin to plant seeds of faith through your affirmations and visualizations, and as you water these seeds with feeling and attention, the new plants begin to grow. At first, they are small and fragile, easily overshadowed by the weeds. But if you persist, if you keep planting and watering and tending, the plants of faith grow stronger. They crowd out the weeds, they take over the garden, and in time, faith becomes your dominant state, and doubt becomes the occasional visitor rather than the permanent resident. This is why I counsel persistence. This is why I tell you to practice your whispered affirmations night after night, regardless of whether you see immediate results. You are engaged in the work of cultivation. You are transforming the garden of your mind. Results may not be visible at first, but beneath the surface, profound changes are taking place. The roots of faith are spreading. The foundation of healing is being laid. And when the demonstration finally breaks through into visible manifestation, it will seem sudden, but you will know that it was prepared by all the unseen work that went before. I want now to share with you additional techniques that can support and enhance your healing practice. These are not replacements for the fundamental practice I have already given you, but supplements that can deepen your work and address specific challenges you may face. The first technique is what I call the healing conversation. In this practice, you do not merely whisper an affirmation, but engage in an actual dialogue with your subconscious mind. You speak to it as if it were a wise and loving friend who has the power to heal you. You explain to it what you want, you ask for its help, and then you listen for its response. Here is how this might work. Find a quiet place and enter a state of relaxation as I have previously described. Then, speaking either aloud or silently, address your subconscious mind. You might say something like this: "Dear subconscious mind, friend and helper, I come to you now with a request. I have been experiencing pain in my body, and I know that you have the power to heal this pain. I know that the same intelligence that formed my body can restore my body. I am asking you now to direct your healing energies to this condition. I am asking you to restore every cell and tissue to perfect health. I trust you. I believe in your power. I thank you for the healing that is now taking place. Then sit quietly for a few moments, not straining to hear a response, but simply remaining open and receptive. You may notice a subtle feeling of peace or reassurance. You may have a thought or an impression that seems to come from beyond your ordinary thinking. You may simply feel a sense of connection with the deeper part of yourself. Whatever you experience, accept it with gratitude and trust that your message has been received and is being acted upon. This technique personalizes the healing process. It creates a relationship between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. It acknowledges the subconscious as a partner in your healing rather than a mere mechanism to be manipulated. Many people find that this conversational approach deepens their practice and accelerates their results. The second technique is what I call the healing memory. In this practice, you recall a time in your life when you felt completely healthy, vital, and free from pain. You immerse yourself in this memory until it becomes vivid and present. You feel in your body the sensations of health you experienced at that time. You recapture the feeling of energy and well-being, and you carry this feeling forward, impressing it upon your subconscious mind as the pattern to be recreated now. For this technique to work, you need only one memory of genuine health and vitality. It could be from childhood, from young adulthood, from any period of your life when you felt truly well. Close your eyes, enter a state of relaxation, and allow yourself to drift back to that time. See yourself as you were then. Notice how your body felt. Notice the energy that flowed through you. Notice the ease of movement, the absence of pain, the sense of aliveness. Let this memory become as real and present as possible. Let yourself feel now what you felt then. As you hold this feeling, speak to your subconscious mind. Say, "This is how I am meant to feel. This is my natural state. I am returning to this state now. My body remembers what it is to be whole, and it is returning to that wholeness now." Hold the feeling as long as you can. Let it saturate your consciousness. Then release it with trust, knowing that the pattern has been impressed and the work of restoration is proceeding. This technique is powerful because it uses your own experience as the template for healing. You are not trying to imagine something you have never known. You are remembering something you have actually lived. This makes it easier to believe and easier to feel. And the feeling is what impresses the subconscious mind. The third technique is what I call the healing proxy. This technique is particularly useful when you find it difficult to imagine yourself as healed. Sometimes the pain is so present, so overwhelming, that it seems impossible to hold an image of health. In such cases, it can be helpful to use a proxy, to imagine someone else being healed, and to allow yourself to feel the joy of that healing. Here is how this works. Think of someone you love who is healthy and vibrant. It could be a family member, a friend, or even a public figure whose vitality you admire. Close your eyes and form a vivid image of this person in the fullness of their health. See them moving easily, smiling, radiating well-being. Feel the happiness you would feel if you were seeing them in person. Let yourself experience vicarious joy in their vitality. Now, gently and gradually, begin to merge your own image with theirs. See yourself taking on their qualities of health and energy. Imagine their vitality flowing into you. Feel yourself becoming as healthy as they are. Let the boundary between you and them dissolve until you are standing in the full light of health that you originally saw in them. This technique circumvents the resistance that sometimes arises when we try to imagine ourselves as healed. By starting with someone else, we can more easily generate the feeling of health, and then we transfer that feeling to ourselves. The subconscious mind accepts the feeling regardless of how it was generated and proceeds to manifest it in our experience. The fourth technique is the healing word. In this practice, you select a single word that encapsulates the quality of healing you seek. It could be a word like whole, well, free, healed, peace, or vitality. This word becomes your touchstone, your anchor, your constant companion throughout the day. Choose your word carefully. Let it be a word that resonates with you, that evokes a feeling of healing when you say it or think it. Once you have chosen your word, begin to use it throughout the day. When you wake in the morning, let your first thought be this word. When you go to sleep at night, let it be your last thought. Whenever you notice your pain during the day, silently repeat your word. Let it become a gentle background presence in your consciousness, a continuous whisper of healing that permeates your entire experience. This technique works by the principle of saturation. You are saturating your consciousness with the idea and feeling of healing. You are making healing the dominant note in the symphony of your thought life. And what dominates your thought life inevitably expresses itself in your outer life. I recall a woman who used this technique with remarkable results. She had been suffering from chronic fatigue for many years. She was so exhausted that even the practice of extended affirmation felt too demanding. So I told her to choose a single word and to use it as I have described. She chose the word energy. She repeated it silently whenever she remembered to do so. She thought it when she woke. She thought it when she went to sleep. She thought it throughout the day. Within a few weeks, she began to notice a subtle shift. She felt slightly more energized. The shift grew more pronounced. Within 3 months, she reported feeling better than she had in years. The word had become a seed that blossomed into the very quality it named. Now I want to address a question that often arises in the minds of those who are learning these practices. The question is this: if the subconscious mind is so powerful, and if it responds to my thoughts and beliefs, does that mean I caused my illness through wrong thinking? Am I to blame for my condition? This question arises from a misunderstanding, and I want to clarify it carefully. The teaching that your thoughts and beliefs influence your body is not a teaching of blame. It is a teaching of empowerment. There is a great difference between saying you are responsible and saying you are to blame. Responsibility is the recognition that you have power. It means that what you think and believe matters, that you are not a helpless victim, that you have agency in your own life. This is a liberating recognition. It means that if your current thoughts and beliefs have contributed to your present condition, then changing those thoughts and beliefs can contribute to a different condition. It gives you something to work with. It gives you a way forward. Blame, on the other hand, is a form of self-condemnation. It involves judging yourself harshly for what you did or did not know, for how you did or did not think. Blame serves no healing purpose. It only adds another burden to those you already carry. I urge you to release any tendency towards self-blame immediately and completely. You did not consciously choose to be in pain. You did not deliberately create your condition. You simply did not know the laws of mind and how they operate. Now you are learning. Now you are awakening. Now you are taking responsibility in the empowering sense of recognizing your power and using it for your healing. The scriptures offer guidance here as well. In the Gospel of John, chapter 9, the disciples see a man who was born blind, and they ask Jesus, "Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" They are looking for someone to blame. But Jesus replies, Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. Then Jesus proceeds to heal the man. Notice the teaching here. Jesus refuses the question of blame entirely. He redirects attention away from the cause of the condition and toward the possibility of divine works being made manifest. He is saying, in effect, that the important thing is not who is at fault, but what can now be done. The healing power is available. The works of God are ready to be manifest. Focus on that. This is the attitude I encourage you to adopt. Do not waste time and energy analyzing how you got into your present condition. Do not burden yourself with guilt over past thoughts or feelings. Instead, focus all your attention and intention on the healing that is now available to you. Put your energy into the practice. Put your faith into the demonstration. Let the works of God be made manifest in you. I want to speak now about the phenomenon of healing crisis and how to understand it. Sometimes, when a person begins to do this healing work in earnest, they experience a temporary intensification of symptoms before improvement begins. This can be alarming if it is not understood, and it has led some people to abandon their practice just when they were on the verge of breakthrough. The healing crisis occurs because the subconscious mind is beginning to clear out the old patterns that have been holding the condition in place. It is like cleaning a room that has been neglected for a long time. When you first start to sweep and dust, you stir up dirt that had settled. The room may actually look worse for a time before it looks better. But if you persist in the cleaning, the dirt is eventually removed, and the room becomes cleaner than it has been in years. Similarly, when you begin to impress new healing patterns upon your subconscious mind, the old patterns may resist. They may flare up in a last protest before they dissolve. The pain may temporarily intensify. Other symptoms may appear briefly. This is not a sign that the practice is failing. It may be a sign that the practice is working, that deep changes are taking place, that the old is being cleared away to make room for the new. If you experience a healing crisis, do not panic and do not abandon your practice. Instead, recognize what is happening and persist with even greater faith. Speak to your subconscious mind. Say, I understand that deep cleaning is taking place. I welcome this process. I know that temporary discomfort is giving way to permanent healing. I trust the process and I continue with faith. Maintain your affirmations, your visualizations, your healing word. The crisis will pass, and you will emerge on the other side in a better state than before. Of course, I must add a word of caution here. While a healing crisis is a real phenomenon, any significant change in symptoms should also be evaluated by a healthcare professional to rule out other causes. Use wisdom and discernment. Do not assume that every intensification of symptoms is a healing crisis. Consult with appropriate professionals when warranted. The spiritual approach does not replace good judgment, it complements it. Now let us explore the role of gratitude in the healing process. Gratitude is one of the most powerful spiritual forces available to you, and it can dramatically accelerate your healing demonstration. When you are grateful, you are in a state of receptivity. You are open to receive. You are aligned with the flow of good. When you are complaining, lamenting, or resenting, you are in a state of resistance. You are closed off. You are pushing good away. The practice of gratitude for healing is simple but profound. Begin to give thanks for your healing before it has fully manifested. This is not self-deception, it is faith in action. You are thanking the infinite for the healing that is now in process, the healing that is inevitable given your new alignment with divine law. You are expressing confidence that the work is being done, even if the outer evidence has not yet fully appeared. You might say, "Thank you, infinite healing presence, for the perfect healing that is now taking place in my body. Thank you for every cell that is being restored. Thank you for the pain that is dissolving. Thank you for the health and vitality that are returning. I am grateful now in advance for the complete demonstration that I know is coming." This kind of anticipatory gratitude is incredibly powerful. It signals to the subconscious mind that you have complete confidence in the outcome. It aligns your emotional state with the reality you are creating in the inner realm. It opens wide the channels through which healing flows. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this principle deeply. She taught that praise and thanksgiving open the doors to untold blessings, while complaining and criticism close them. She would often have her students affirm, "I give thanks for the perfect outcome now," even before the outcome was visible. She knew that gratitude is not merely a response to good, but a magnet that attracts good. I encourage you to make gratitude a central part of your healing practice. When you wake in the morning, give thanks for the healing that took place during the night, even if you cannot yet feel it. Throughout the day, give thanks for every sign of improvement, however small. Before sleep, give thanks for the healing work the subconscious will perform while you rest. Let gratitude become the atmosphere in which you live, and watch how quickly your healing demonstrates. I want to speak now about the subject of time and healing. Many people become impatient when they do not see immediate results. They wonder if they are doing something wrong. They begin to doubt the process. This impatience can actually delay the healing by introducing resistance and anxiety into the mental atmosphere. Here is a truth you must accept. Healing operates in divine time, not clock time. The subconscious mind does not heal according to your schedule, but according to its own wisdom. It knows the most efficient and thorough way to restore your body, and it works at that pace regardless of your conscious impatience. Your task is to trust the timing. Your task is to plant the seeds of healing, water them with faith and gratitude, and then allow the harvest to come when the harvest is ready. You do not dig up a seed every day to see if it is growing. You trust that the natural processes are at work beneath the soil. You wait with patience and confidence for the sprout to emerge. The same principle applies to your healing. You have planted the seeds through your affirmations and visualizations. You have watered them with feeling and faith. Now you must trust the process. Now you must cultivate patience. Now you must allow the subconscious mind to do its perfect work in its perfect time. This does not mean you become passive. You continue your practice daily. You keep impressing the healing patterns upon your mind, but you do so with patience rather than urgency, with trust rather than anxiety. You know that the outcome is certain, even if the timing is unknown. And in this relaxed confidence, you create the optimal conditions for healing to occur. Neville Goddard taught extensively on the relationship between the inner act and its outer manifestation. He explained that when you imagine your fulfilled desire with feeling, you have already, in a very real sense, accomplished it in the inner realm. The outer manifestation is simply the inevitable expression of what has already been created within. There is often a delay between the inner creation and the outer expression, which Neville called the bridge of incidence. But the manifestation will come if you persist in the assumption of its reality. Apply this understanding to your healing work. When you whisper your healing affirmations and hold your healing images, you are creating your healing in the inner realm. It is done. The outer manifestation will follow. There may be a bridge of incidence, a series of events and developments that lead to the full expression of your healing. Trust the bridge. Walk across it with faith. Know that you are moving toward your demonstration with every step. Now I wish to address those who are dealing not only with physical pain, but with the emotional dimensions of suffering. The fear, the frustration, the anger, the sadness, the despair that often accompany chronic conditions. These emotional responses are understandable, but they can also compound the problem if they are allowed to dominate your consciousness. Fear, in particular, is a powerful negative influence. Fear contracts consciousness. Fear restricts the flow of healing energy. Fear impresses upon the subconscious mind images of continued suffering and worsening conditions. When you are afraid, you are working against your own healing. I do not say this to judge you for your fear. Fear is a natural response to pain and uncertainty, but I say it to empower you to address your fear as part of your healing practice. The same techniques that heal the body can heal the emotions. You can whisper to your fear just as you whisper to your pain. Try this practice. When you feel fear arising, do not fight it and do not feed it. Simply acknowledge it. I notice that fear is present. Then speak to the fear as you would speak to a frightened child. I understand why you are here. You are trying to protect me, but I want you to know that I am safe. The healing power of the infinite is taking care of me. You can relax now. You can let go. All is well. As you speak these words, feel a sense of calm and safety settling over you. Feel the fear beginning to dissolve. Feel peace taking its place. You may need to repeat this practice many times, for fear is persistent. But each time you address it with love and reassurance, you weaken its hold on you. Each time you choose peace over panic, you strengthen the healing atmosphere within your consciousness. The same approach applies to other difficult emotions. If anger arises, speak to it. I understand your frustration, but anger is not serving me now. I release you into the light. I choose peace instead. If sadness arises, I honor the grief you carry, but I am opening now to hope and healing. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Whatever the emotion, acknowledge it, speak to it with compassion, and then consciously choose a higher state. This is emotional mastery, and it is an essential component of holistic healing. The body and the emotions are intimately connected. As you heal your emotional responses to your condition, you support the healing of the condition itself. Now let me share with you another testimony that illustrates the power of these principles applied over time. This concerns a man I will call Thomas, who came to me suffering from severe arthritis that had progressively worsened over many years. His joints were inflamed, his mobility was limited, and he lived in constant discomfort. He had been told by his physicians that his condition was degenerative and would only grow worse with time. Thomas was initially skeptical of the approach I taught. He was a practical man, an engineer by profession, and the idea that his thoughts could influence his arthritis seemed implausible to him. But he was desperate enough to try anything, so he agreed to undertake the practice as an experiment. I taught him the whispered affirmation technique and the healing visualization. I encouraged him to practice every night before sleep and every morning upon waking. I told him to persist for at least 90 days before evaluating the results. He agreed, though without much confidence. For the first month, Thomas noticed nothing. His pain was unchanged. His skepticism deepened, but to his credit, he continued the practice as he had committed to do. In the second month, he began to notice something subtle. He found that his sleep was deeper and more restful. He woke feeling slightly more refreshed. The pain was still present, but somehow it did not bother him quite as much. He felt a subtle shift in his emotional relationship to his condition, a growing sense that perhaps things could change. In the third month, the outer changes began. One morning he woke and realized that the stiffness in his hands was less severe than usual. He could make a fist more easily. He dismissed it as a fluke, but the improvement persisted. Over the following weeks, his mobility continued to improve. The inflammation began to subside. The pain that had been constant began to have intervals of relief. Thomas continued his practice, now with growing conviction. Over the next 6 months, his improvement continued. His physicians were puzzled. The degeneration they had predicted had reversed. They had no explanation within their medical model for what was happening. But Thomas knew. He had learned to whisper to his pain. He had impressed upon his subconscious mind a new pattern of health. The healing intelligence within him had responded to his persistent faith and had done what medicine said was impossible. Thomas's story is not unique. I have witnessed countless such transformations. They all follow the same pattern. An individual learns the principles, applies the practice, persists through doubt and delay, and eventually demonstrates healing that seems miraculous, but is actually the natural result of working with divine law. You can be such an individual. Your story can join the testimonies of the healed. The same power that worked for Thomas, for Robert, for the woman with chronic pain, for the woman with chronic fatigue, is available to you right now. It does not discriminate. It does not make exceptions. It responds to faith and practice wherever it finds them. As we move toward the close of this teaching, I want to leave you with a deeper understanding of what you are truly doing when you engage in this healing work. You are not merely reciting words or performing a technique. You are aligning yourself with the fundamental creative power of the universe. You are working with the same law that brought galaxies into being and sustains all life. You are remembering who you really are, not a helpless creature at the mercy of circumstance, but a divine being with access to infinite resources of healing and restoration. The scriptures express this truth in many ways. In the book of Genesis, we are told that God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. This means that the life within you is the life of the infinite itself. The power that animates you is divine power. The intelligence that governs your body is divine intelligence. You are not separate from God. You are an expression of God. And all that God is, all that God has, is available to you when you learn to open yourself to receive it. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 12, verse 32, Jesus says, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." Notice the remarkable assurance in these words. The kingdom, which represents all the blessings and powers of the divine, is not something you must earn or deserve. It is something the Father delights to give you. It is your birthright. It is yours for the receiving. Your healing is part of this kingdom. Health and wholeness are your divine inheritance. The pain and limitation you experience are not the will of God for you, but distortions that arise when you are out of alignment with your true nature. As you realign through the practice of faith-filled affirmation and visualization, you step back into the kingdom that has always been yours. I want you to carry this understanding with you as you continue your healing journey. You are not struggling to get something you lack. You are awakening to something you already possess. You are not begging a reluctant deity for a favor. You are opening to the constant outpouring of divine love that surrounds and penetrates you always. Let this understanding change your emotional relationship to your practice. Instead of approaching it with desperation and neediness, approach it with gratitude and joy. You are not a beggar, you are a child of the King, coming home to claim your inheritance. You are not fighting against an enemy, you are cooperating with a loving friend who desires your wholeness even more than you do. With this understanding, practice becomes a pleasure rather than a chore. Affirmation becomes celebration rather than supplication. Visualization becomes joyful anticipation rather than anxious hopping. And healing becomes inevitable because you are aligned with the very nature of the universe, which is life and love and eternal renewal. As you go forward from this teaching, remember the key truths we have explored. Remember that your subconscious mind is the creative medium through which all healing flows. Remember that what you impress upon this mind with feeling and conviction will be expressed in your body. Remember the practice of whispering your healing affirmation in the receptive moments before sleep and upon waking. Remember to combine words with images, affirmation with visualization. Remember the importance of faith, of patience, of persistence, of gratitude, of forgiveness. Remember the testimonies of those who have walked this path before you and have demonstrated healing that seemed impossible. Remember that the same power that healed them waits to heal you. Remember that you are not alone, that a great community of awakening souls surrounds you, that the infinite itself supports you in your healing journey. And when doubt arises, as it will, remember to speak to it with the same gentle authority with which you speak to your pain. Say to your doubt, "Thank you for your concern, but I am choosing faith. I am choosing to trust the process. I am choosing to believe in the healing power that lives within me." Then return to your practice with renewed commitment. The spiritual switch of healing is always available. It is not a switch you flip once and forget. It is a switch you flip again and again, every time you choose faith over fear, every time you speak words of healing rather than words of limitation, every time you hold images of wholeness rather than images of disease. Flip the switch tonight. Flip it tomorrow morning. Flip it throughout the day. Keep flipping it until faith becomes your default state, until healing consciousness permeates your being, until the demonstration of wholeness manifests in your body for all to see. You are a child of the infinite, endowed with all the power and wisdom of your source. Pain is a temporary visitor, not a permanent resident. Healing is your birthright, your natural state, your destiny. Claim it now, receive it now, live it now. Whisper to your pain and feel relief begin. Speak to the depths of your being with faith and conviction. Cooperate with the healing intelligence that formed you and sustains you and even now is restoring you. Trust the process. Trust the law. Trust the love that will never let you go. You are healing now. You are whole now. You are free now. The healing presence of the infinite moves through every cell of your body. The light of divine love dissolves all darkness. The peace that passes understanding settles upon your mind. The joy of wholeness begins to rise within you. Accept it, believe it, receive it. And so it is, now and forever. Amen.